Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to do another box buy update. I've got a few recommendations that I'd like to make here. I want to talk about what's been going on in the market. I want to talk about some 2021 era products, the specialty sets, so to speak, and then all of the current imprint sets that I think are okay deals, decent deals. But really what I'd like to talk about first up here is the stuff that I think is a good buy. So it's a lot of this is subjective every time I do this, but these are some boxes that I really think are worth bringing to folks' attention. First up, let's just get right out of the gate. Of course, it's like broken record at this point. Modern Horizons 2 is amazingly still, $208 a box, right? Wizards is doing their best, I believe, to control the price of this product. This is something that I've said, everyone has said, it's pretty obvious at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and give this my vote for best modern era set. Like Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is a favorite of mine because I just think the set set the new bar for just standard draft releases. But Modern Horizons 2, the value that was given to us in this set for the price, I don't know where that's been paralleled. Now, there's a lot of talk about the upcoming Double Masters, the new Double Masters set. I'm going to have to see what's in there. I mean, something can have value to it, right? But if it's $500 a box, even if it's a good deal, I don't know that everybody can really relate to buying a product like that because you're really spreading yourself thin trying to acquire. But so we'll have to see what happens with that product, what the price point ends up being. But Modern Horizons 2 continues to really simultaneously kind of impress me and astound me at the same time. The value of the box is still phenomenal. The contents are unparalleled, and the price has held steady at that kind of 208 shipped price online, regardless of really where you're looking. Amazon, eBay, pick your poison. But Modern Horizons 2, I put this on here again because if you have not added to your position, the word, I hate using that word, I'm going to use it anyway. But if you have not comfortably gotten enough Modern Horizons 2 and you consider yourself, someone who wants to invest in sealed product and you have set certain goals, if those goals include buying boxes at release, waiting a while and selling them, Modern Horizons 2 is something that I have made sure I've bought as much as I'm comfortable owning, and I'm just waiting for the moment where this set goes out of print and the price changes dramatically. But until then, it's a great set to buy and open. It's a great set to buy and hold. I do not know when they're going to stop printing Modern Horizons 2. That's kind of the trick. It's been in print for so long now relative to, to other sets and their print life, especially for a specialty product like this. That is interesting to me. So, I'm not entirely sure when the cutoff would be. There isn't another Modern Horizons on the way, right? We kind of understand that the original Jumpstart will go out of print soon because Jumpstart 2 is around the corner. We know that Commander Legends is about to go out of print because Commander Legends 2 is, weeks away at this point, I think. There's no Modern Horizons 3, right? So it's hard to just tell when they're going to cut the print off of this specialty product. If I find out more, I'll certainly update everyone, but keep your ear to the ground. There's a lot of info out there. So Modern Horizons 2, again, of course, this is one of the products we're going to look back on and realize it was probably one of the best ever. So at 208, I still love buying Modern Horizons 2. I'm just talking about draft boxes. The set boxes have really crept up there. I see them pushing kind of the 250, 260 range. Maybe you can get a deal here and there, but I think it's completely okay buying the draft box. Again, there's so much value in just the draft pack. Remember, there are often multiple rares in a draft pack, very frequently. You've still got access to all of the borderless cards. There weren't treatments in the set booster boxes that were not in the draft boxes. That's kind of important because we're seeing sets like Streets of NEWCAPENNA where, hey, we'll start to sprinkle in 1% of packs with the gilded foil kind of chase cards, but not in the draft boxes, no draft boxes. So that's something to remember about Modern Horizons 2. I think you're getting just as much access to stuff aside from the list cards in a draft box versus a set box. So moving on, I'm going to go to these. Kaldheim set boxes are available right now. And you know how much I like Kaldheim as a set just in general. Kaldheim set boosters are available right now for $81 shipped. I'll show a screenshot for each of these, but if you're like me and you're kind of buying just a reasonable amount of boxes, saving them for a little while, and then selling them either to recoup your costs and keep a few boxes for free essentially, or to just sell for a profit and roll it into the next product, $90 is about where I like to be shipped for a box of anything. Draft standard sets, right? Set or draft. Kaldheim at $81 puts me way ahead of that curve. You know, $90 works for me. I feel like that's a fair price. I kind of tout that on here every now and then. Anytime I see something for significantly less than $90, that to me, that just is a buy signal, basically. I don't care how the set's being received at all. Unless there's some crazy extenuating circumstance and something awful is gotten into the water at Wizards of the Coast and they released like just an unfathomably bad set. But I don't know of a set right now that's like that. Like I couldn't give an example. So that to me means that, okay, all the sets are of a decent enough design quality. Kaldheim is no exception. Kaldheim set boxes in particular right now for $81, I went ahead and added a few more to my collection here, and I was really glad to do so at $81. Truth be told, because I love Kaldheim, I might open one, but that's just because I can't get enough of the foil showcase mythics. Like the foil showcase gods are just so cool to me. I love that showcase frame. It is so cool. I have a lot of commander decks that use those or have those as commanders, so anyway, and also, you know, the list is always a nice time to roll the dice on the list. So Kaldheim set boxes at $81. I bought some. I'll show a screenshot and maybe try to find a link, but you'll be able to find these. You don't need my help with that. So Kaldheim set boxes 81. Absolutely love that. I'll use a proxy here. Keep moving Kamigawa down the line here. Strixhaven set boxes. I opened all of mine when I got them because I wanted to, you know, open them when the set came out. And I never had an opportunity to buy more at a really crazy price. But Strixhaven set boxes are available right now for $85 shipped. That's awesome. This is obviously just a draft box, but I use it as a bit of a proxy. So Strixhaven set boxes at $85. I love that. You know, I did a breakdown recently and showed that the Mystical Archives on average were producing about somewhere between $3 and $4 of value per pack if you averaged out the price of, like, you know, Demonic Tutor and Teferi's Protection down to kind of the second tier commander cards that are somewhere in the, you know, $6 to $9 range. And then there's kind of everything else. If you consider that, I like the value, the long-term value of a Strixhaven box just in general. So the fact that I could get the set box for $85 shipped, that's a really great deal to me, because depending on where you live and sort of the tax situation you're in, that's going to definitely put you at that just shy of that $90 cutoff that I really like. And for a set box, that's a really great deal, especially one that is really close, I think, to kind of just being in the rear view mirror in terms of what we're focused on. We're focusing more on, you know, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, the Innistrad sets, maybe a little bit of Kaldheim, but a little bit of Zendikar Rising, I don't know, maybe. But Strixhaven is soon to start feeling pretty old, in my opinion. So grabbing Strixhaven set boxes at $85 is awesome to me. I did, truth be told, go ahead and grab a chunk of those because, like I said, I opened all of mine when the set came out, and then again, I never had an opportunity or a little window to find some for a really crazy deal. Maybe it just got past me here and there too. That's entirely possible, but I really like that at $85. This shifting over now. So, okay, bear with me here, right? Innistrad Midnight Hunt in particular. I'm not going to talk about Crimson Vow on this video, don't worry, but Midnight Hunt. So I obviously like I'm okay with both of these sets, but I genuinely like Midnight Hunt. I think that the werewolf mechanic, some of the mythics in the set, there's a really there was a more solid feel to the set to me. I love the art of the basic lands over the art of the basic lands in Crimson Vow. For some reason, there is just they are markedly different. I don't know why. There's the Midnight Hunt lands have this more like rounded, bubbly, kind of almost heavy metal look to the graphics on the lands, and the Crimson Vow lands just feel a little flatter to me. I don't know what it is about them. That's a little beside the point. But so Midnight Hunt, the value of the boxes is being carried by obviously a few heavy hitters in the set. Meat Hook Massacre, of course, being one of them. But right now, what's interesting about this is that on eBay, I found Midnight Hunt draft boxes for $80. But the EV of these boxes is $87. So, that's an interesting sign to me. The fact that the EV is a lot higher than the box price signals to me usually like that's okay, maybe that's a buying opportunity. I think you have to really like the set, because I do understand that there is a little bit of a stigma around both of these. Remember, always, always, always just buy what you like. Just because I think that this is a really good deal right now and is worth buying if your goal is to hold it and save it and then eventually sell it for a little bit of a return, none of that really matters if you just don't like this product. Like you're not you'll have a little bit too much anxiety, I think, keeping this stuff around. You don't have any attachment to it. You wouldn't really want to be stuck with it, because in any normal day you wouldn't go out and buy 6 boxes of Midnight Hunt to open, right? So buy what you love. It doesn't matter if anything that I talk about here is a deal. What matters is if you like the product. I think it's important to also just remember that you are in fact looking for deals, but you'll want to make sure that you just buy what is appealing to you. So Midnight Hunt at $80 seemed like a really good buy to me, especially given that the EV, like I say, is around $87. So this is the set that I'm going to champion the most. This is the set I'm a little loud about this set. I do realize that, but Zendikar Rising, if we think about where we are right now, let me bring in a couple of just support pieces, I guess. So the 2019-2021 era boxes, 2019-2020 era boxes, even into a little bit of 2021, but these boxes here, Eldraine, Theros, Ikoria are examples of boxes that have popped. They're from this era. Remember that Zendikar Rising was September 2020? Yeah, September 2020. Ikoria was March 2020. So, they're from the same sort of troubled year for Magic in terms of just being in person, being able to go to pre-releases, etc., right? These have all tipped. Like either the value of the box was higher than the sale prices, and that certainly was true until recently for Ikoria and Theros, right? These were available for $99, and then I just got a bunch of these for $97 like a week ago or so. And both of these are in the Ikorias are 130 or so. Beyond Deaths are somewhere in kind of the 117, 120 range right now. And Eldraine continues to be somewhere around 125, 130, 135. It depends where you're looking. But gone are the days forever of being able to pick these up for launch prices, because they're just too old at this point. They're too old. And then in all 3 of these cases, for sure, the EV of the box is high. You've got cards either from Pioneer, which is a big deal for the Pro Tour coming up, or you've just got a high EV, say in Theros, buoyed by like the, Uro and Croxa or something like that. And then Throne of Eldraine has just always had a really decent EV, either from like Brazen Borrower or the Great Henge. Just notice that it's usually the mythics that are pushing boxes. That's why I really, really like to look for sets that have a strong rare land cycle, right? Because more frequently are we going to be getting those. That's one of the things that does wonders for Modern Horizons 2, because the fetch lands were printed at rare. That was a wonderful thing. They show up a lot more frequently. You can sometimes pull between 3 and 5 a box. Sorry, not sometimes. You can usually pull between 3 and 5 a box. I think 5 is on the luckier side, but it's still possible. So Zendikar Rising, though, to me, it's in this era, but it's still $99. To me, that is because the EV of the box is lower than that. It's lower than the $99 asking price. In terms of standard or Pioneer or something where the cards that are in this set are used, there's not a ton of heavy hitters right now. Some of the modal dual face car like Agadeem's Awakening and such command a high price. That's true. I just still like the pathways. The pathway lands in here and in Kaldheim are becoming very common in Pioneer, Modern, builds, etc. And I just think that they were going to age a little bit better than we think. But really, what I like about this is the box topper. To me, it's all about the box topper. I remember I have an older video where I broke down the average value of the box topper and showed that, this is just an unprecedented type of box topper for Wizards to include in a set. It's kind of up there, Godzilla is almost up there with this in Ikoria, but I just feel like it's only a matter of time before Zendikar Rising is just getting tougher to find. People are maybe cracking them to try and get to the box toppers and create some arbitrage or what have you. But until the cards in the set become a little more high priced because of some trick in Commander, or there's some deck that really wants to pull a lot out of this set, it's going to have probably a slower time finding its way beyond $99, but it is on its way. It is absolutely on its way. I'm set and ready. My goal is to hold these for, my kind of 3 to 5 year window, wait until they hit that target price of mine of $169, $170 or so, and then let a few of them go and keep the rest. So I think that I definitely put Zendikar Rising in the same kind of conversation with these sets over here. It's a little slow to the party because it's slightly powered down compared to these 3 sets, but it's still, I think, really important to look at that. So this is kind of one of those 3 categories that I think are important to be aware of. So if I finish up here with Neon Dynasty, I want to circle back to that discussion of kind of categories. Neon Dynasty is another one that I really like here because I see these for $93 right now on eBay, and the EV of the box alone is $95. This is a standard in-print box with an EV of $95. That has not really changed much. That is also crazy to me. I think it is helped by the fact that a lot of the better cards in the set that are being sought after for decks, Boseiju, for example, are printed at rare. So that is something to really keep in mind when you're sizing up sets and looking at them. Is the good stuff only in the mythic slot and all the rares are garbage? Because you're only going to pull a handful of mythics per box. Whereas if good cards are printed at rare and you've got a shot at getting, full art versions of them or really interesting treatments inside the draft box like we do here, then that to me is a really, really good indicator for the long-term success of a box financially. So Kamigawa is just this really interesting example where there's no box topper, there's no access to chase cards in this set. NEWCAPENNA is kind of no different, right? Because the gilded foil chase cards, you can't get those in draft boxes. Yes, I know there is like a box topper. I really don't consider that a box topper. They've given you the same printing of a 25-cent rare in every box, and it's just, I don't think anybody's really going to want that card for that particular reason, but I digress. There is just so much going on in this set. Treatments and borderless cards and good rares and this is just like a very heavily saturated standard product. So I don't know when people are going to want to, gut their inventory of this because it's not selling. And I don't know, honestly, when we start to see boxes of Neon Dynasty for $79.99 shipped online. Like there was a weird moment where I saw that like many weeks ago, and I grabbed a few because I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Why are these $80? They ended up being perfectly fine, but I like this still at $93. I think that as we move again toward the price hike era, right? Like the next standard set to come out after New Capenna, which will be Dominaria United, that is going to be subject to the price hike. So your standard draft box at, not at launch, but sort of after allocation is going to be, I don't see how it's possible that it gets below $99 because the wholesale price of these boxes is about to switch over to kind of $90 or so. Well, somebody's got to ship this whole thing to you. I mean, they've got to make something. Nobody's doing this as a charity. They're doing it as a business. So all of these distributors that buy massive amounts of inventory and have these big eBay stores, I just don't think they're going to be able to offer Dominaria United forward for like, $79.99, $84.99 online. That's just not possible. They've got to spend that just to get the box and then store it and pay someone to deal with it and list it and ship it. And, it just, there's a lot that goes on. So I just wonder if this is going to continue to be popular enough to us that we're willing to continue to pay, the $95 when really that might be the clearance price of future sets. I think it's still a fair price for Neon Dynasty. I've loaded up on this. I'm all set with this, but I just bring it to everyone's attention to kind of give you my opinion on just the value that I see in this particular set. So if I clear the floor here just a little bit, let me just mention a few final thoughts here about the kind of three categories of product I think we have. So I really think that right now you can kind of lump the boxes that you have access to at what are more or less their launch price into kind of three categories. You've kind of got like the current sets that are at good prices, and you've then kind of got your 2020 to 2021 era products that are at their prices, and then you've got like your specialty products. So, the 2020, 2021, 2022 era products that are at fair prices, are kind of here. I think that you can also obviously lump in, Midnight Hunt a little bit there. All right, let's clean that up a little bit. So if you've got these types of products here, this is definitely a category that you can hunt out. I think that like AFR, Kaldheim, Crimson Vow, Midnight Hunt, Zendikar Rising, like this is kind of the current guard to me. And, Neon Dynasty you could sort of lump in here, but what is this is to me like a category, right? Like these are all readily available. They're easy to find for, you're anywhere between, $99 or so, all the way down to $79.99. I mentioned that this is seemingly on sale right now. Zendikar Rising at $99, I think has always been a deal. But these are in print now, so you have to decide, I think, whether or not you want these, because these are more or less the cheapest they're going to be, right? They're really readily available. They're in really reasonable sub $100 price tags. The price hike is coming. I don't entirely know how quickly that impacts stuff like this, but price memory will set in, and we will all accept sooner rather than later that a draft booster box is not supposed to be $79.99 or $89.99 anymore. Like we're going to get over that. So I would bring to your attention the fact that you can consider fleshing out your holding if you haven't already for some of these products. Really only buy what you like though, because some of these are a little bit they hit folks a certain way. I know that some people are just like really not into AFR. It is a core set. It does feel slightly powered down, but then again, it's got a decent amount of mythics in here that are really pushing the price up. So I do like these products still, obviously, but another category to me is, of course, your specialty sets. So Commander Legends, what is going on with Commander Legends? What is going on with Jumpstart? So Jumpstart is still a decent buy, I think, right now. I see Jumpstart out there for about $90 on eBay. That's a pretty good deal, kind of your $89.99 price tag. So the trick, though, is we don't really know how Jumpstart's going to age, given that Jumpstart 2 is coming out. Do you go ahead and buy into this now? Do you wait? I still really like Jumpstart at this price. I'm loaded up on it. I've accepted that that is kind of its floor. It's not its floor price, but more like its fair price right now. So I'm not screaming like, "Oh my gosh, guess what? Jumpstart's on this crazy sale. It's $90." Because we've seen Jumpstart at like $82 before, right? So, it being somewhere around 90 right now is decent, but I think you've got to decide how much confidence you have in Jumpstart aging as Jumpstart 2 comes out. Because as you can see too, a lot of the cards in that set that were kind of like the chase cards, your Allosaurus, Shepherds, and such, they have drifted down in price slightly. They are still really expensive cards that are really buoying the value of a box, the expected value. Commander Legends, though, is interesting. Remember that the kind of target price for Commander Legends was around $108. This is slowly drifting up. Magic camera trick. Sorry, my battery died. What I mean to say is, with Commander Legends, so Commander Legends 2 is on its way. It has been spoiled beyond repair. And if you're into that type of thing, you can go check it out. But I think there's some concern that, the theme, yet again, it's like Adventures in the Forgotten Realms was really beloved by enough folks who were really into the subject matter. But now, rather than a commander set like this one that was based on just, the overall history of Magic, Magic's historic characters, Jessica and Kamal and really cool reprints and, vampiric tutors and new things like Jeweled Lotus, just generic references to the history of the game. Even Rogak, right? Like, like there were, or even like Rebecca and Glaceon, like, oh my goodness. Old people like me were just panicking in a fun, good way when these cards were starting to get spoiled because it had a broad cross-section of Magic baked into its DNA. AFR is cool. I do not understand really, don't get me wrong, really, really cool subject matter in general. I don't understand kind of what the fascination with tying in to Dungeons and Dragons or AFR is in general. Like, I understand that Wizards owns both properties. Like, I obviously get that, but that's an awful lot of permutation between the two. So I think there's a concern that the subject matter in the upcoming Commander set is going to feel too niche again. It's going to feel like, okay, the only people that get the references are people that enjoy this particular intellectual property. And hey, if I'm not one of them, I'm not going to understand the significance. And then it's basically turning into like a new Magic set with characters and things that, let's say, I've never heard of, but I've got to decide whether I like or not. But okay, but we just went to, it's like we just did an AFR set, so like we get to do it again. I've already seen these people, like what gives? It's a strange decision to me, but I am of the camp that likes the subject matter. I think that it's very, very interesting. It's very cool. It's very nostalgic. It's obviously like ripe with, Magic parallels. So that's a little long-winded, but there's some concern. How do you play that? So if you're concerned that Commander Legends 2 is going to be overpriced for what it is, which, I'll come back to that in just a sec, then you may hedge your bets if you're like, look, people want access to draftable Commander packs, right? If the better of the two ends up being Commander Legends, then do I go ahead and just buy Commander Legends? Because last time I checked, these boxes are a lot cheaper than the new ones coming out. They're going to, by virtue, just be older. They're going to have more of, they're going to get their vintage earlier than the other set. And that might be something you want to think about. One thing that concerns me, and I brought this up in a previous video regarding the price hike, is the set booster box for Commander Legends is $130 and it's got 18 packs in it. I mean, come on. There wasn't a set booster box with this. It was draft and collector. But the set booster box having 18 packs, to me, is like a little bit much. For $130, I think that that's maybe going a little too far. I get that there needs to be a slight price hike, but you are almost shaving a set booster box in half and charging even more than to me, that's way too much. That's way too drastic of a move. So I don't know how well the set booster boxes do. You know, the draft set I'm sure is going to be awesome. You know, everything in general is awesome. This is such an incredible game. Whether some sets fall flat on us or not does not change the fact that they are in fact awesome. So that is long-winded. I apologize, but it's just I've got some some thoughts and concerns about Commander Legends and the upcoming one. I have not obviously pre-ordered anything from the upcoming Commander Legends set quite yet. It's a little too high for my taste. I do just want to get a feel for it. I want to see what's out there. I want to properly understand the card previews when they come out. But it gives me all the more confidence in the original Commander Legends. And the price, let's get to the important part here. The price of this has crept up to about 110, maybe literally a couple dollars more than that, but it's not that far off of the 108, which I think in the long run, splitting hairs over $5 or so is not going to matter when it comes to the success of this product. So I still really like Commander Legends. I'm not putting kind of like in my like top 5 recommendations today because I've mentioned this before. It's fairly priced. There are no deals. I do not see this ever for less than, the 108 or so. Now it's become 110 because of where things are heading. So this is something for you to consider and keep in mind. The only other thing I really think is worth bringing up are the collector boxes. So the collector boxes are out there, and I'm going to exclude Neon Dynasty yet again from this, but the collector boxes are out there, and this is the same crop of sets that I just talked about, right? The Zendikar Rising boxes, they're old enough at this point to command a higher price, but the fact that they've also got like a double expedition box topper in them moved those a lot quicker. So these are all floating around for various deals at various times. So I see what I see out there right now is interesting to me, but I'm not going to really advocate one way or the other. You've got to decide how comfortable you are with these. I'm not entirely sure how they move. I think that over time, looking back on, say, Kaldheim Collector is $160 right now on Amazon. That to me is a really good deal. AFR Collector I see for $165 on TCG Player. Like, that's a pretty crazy price to me. Crimson Vow Collector is $163 on eBay right now. And then I see Midnight Hunt Collector, which is odd, right? I see Midnight Hunt Collector for $157 on eBay right now. Remember that this is obviously the set that's got the foil extended art Meat Hook Massacre in it that is like pushing $100. This set has, this box in particular has more decent odds of pulling the alternate art Sorin Planeswalker. That card is over $100. So these products, these specific products right here, I think that they are really well priced for what you could possibly pull out of them. Not to mention the fact that, there's, 12 packs worth of, goodies in here if you were to stumble upon one of those 2 cards that I just mentioned. So I know the sets are a little bit divisive, but if you see good deals and you have faith in what those deals might mean for you long term, then this is a decision you just have to make. Is the borderless foil Tiamat, which is a lot of money, worth it to you to hold a couple of these boxes? I mean, is it worth it to you if you see these for $165? This is so much lower than launch. And I think that the trouble that we're going to have as kind of like investors of these products is we haven't seen these move much. If anything, we've just seen them drift downward. And then we had the crazy fire sale where these 3 were sold for $120 each. I have a separate video about that. I pounced on that so fast and rounded out my holding of those. But, when it comes to these, you're going to see these are relative to other sets, a crazy deal given how much you'd spend on a collector box of, say, Streets of NEWCAPENNA or Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. But you've got to decide if in the long run you think that we're going to wake up and snap out of the funk that we're in about, at least these 3 sets in particular. and look at and value these differently, especially in an era with price hikes. So I'd leave it at that here. That has been a lot of information. Those are my picks for myself, the things that I think are really well priced. What about you? What are you buying out there? Have you had it with any of these sets? Are any of them that you're just not touching? I really have appreciated your comments. It teaches me a lot, because I know what I think and I know what my convictions are about how I buy, how I save, prices that I look for, sets I have faith in, and to see kind of how everybody else feels and operates and what it is that you think you have a lot of faith in and what you're looking forward to kind of saving and holding long term. That is really illuminating to me. So I really do appreciate your comments. I'm looking forward to some more of them. So let me know your thoughts. I really appreciate you watching. I know this is a long video and wrought with a technical glitch and everything. So wow, we've really run the gamut. Thanks very much for watching. I look forward to talking about this again in the near future. So until then, take care.